Good day, everyone. It's a beautiful day here in my neck of the woods, and we're going to go ahead and do a quick video. Now, I do apologize again for no video, as I am sitting in my car and I really don't want to have all the shakies going on as I move my stuff around. But I do plan to eventually rearrange my room to where I can use it as a semi studio, especially while the family's home. So that's probably something I'm going to take care of here within the next week. So hopefully all that will change. But enough about that. Enough about me and all the silliness of this channel. Let's go ahead and get into the news that you came in here for. And obviously, as you can tell by the title, we're going to talk about Apple creating a video game console. Now, I want to keep in mind that when this came up, this was the first that I've heard about it. So I just want to make that perfectly clear. This is the first that I've heard about it, but it's also apparently old news. So let me go ahead and just bring it up here, and you can see what I'm talking about. Where it's here and it says that the rumor says that Apple could be preparing its own video game console, and that it is currently poaching or taking engineers away from Microsoft/Xbox to help create its own video game console. Now, again, this is back in January, and I'm just now finding out about it, so I apologize. I know it's technically old news. But according to one insider, Apple is making moves into the gaming space of its own dedicated console. And the reason why I wanted to discuss that was mostly because of the whole idea of Apple making a video game console. Now, this is technically something that they've already done before with the Apple Bandai Pippin. You're welcome to look it up. I'll try to remember to leave it as part of my thumbnail for this video. In fact, here, hold on a second. In fact, I'll go ahead and I'll bring this picture up that I have of it, where basically, they teamed up apparently with Bandai, I guess for games, and this is what it is. They came out with a system. It had this trackball. It had all kinds of stuff, and it was mostly supposed to be my understanding is that it's supposed to primarily be an online system. Like I believe it had access to like the internet or whatever, and you got games from there. And look, I'm not saying that this can't work. I'm not saying that it can't work, because gaming has changed a lot since then. What was this? The late '90s, I think, that they tried this. I had to double check the year, but the gaming landscape has changed a lot. Because back then when they had this, I think the N64 was out, or something like 3D gaming had just become a thing. I don't really remember even hearing about it until after like the 2000s. But the fact of the matter is that regardless of when it came out, they tried once and it failed commercially. And just like Atari's had a ton of systems that have come out that have failed significantly. This could work. They could come out with a box that's kind of like this, or just like an Apple TV, that they just simply sync up any Bluetooth controller that works. So that means you could use a PlayStation controller, an Xbox controller, anything that's Bluetooth cable, or they can come up with their own, and you just simply play games. But then in a way that's almost kind of like Apple Arcade in a way, if you think about it. Because I haven't really had a chance to try Apple Arcade, but it seems like the kind of thing where if you've got a Bluetooth controller, if it's anything like the games that work from typical app stores, like on the computer and stuff, then you can just simply already hook up a Bluetooth controller to it. Because I remember I was able to sync up an Xbox controller to an iPad. So wouldn't that just be basically the same thing? Is basically you just go to your iPad or your phone, so then it becomes an app, and then you simply focus on Apple Arcade. Now that's not saying they can't turn this into some kind of a special division thing where it's Apple games, and maybe they buy big companies. Like we know that EA and Ubisoft, like we talked about, have wanted to be purchased. So maybe that's the kind of thing where they can do that. They can go through, they can purchase Ubisoft, they can purchase EA, and come out with exclusive like Apple Sports games for their consoles, or for their Apple infrastructure, I guess. And it just goes across the board. So it's like, look, if you got that, I think that's probably the best if they make it an app or something that you already can access, because then it becomes the easiest thing ever. Kind of like how Apple TV is. You have the Apple TV app. You can watch Apple TV programming on a device that's not even an Apple device. You can go through your smart TV. You can go through any device, like I think even Fire Sticks, Roku sticks, and stuff like that, that just have the app. This could be the same thing where it says, look, if you have a Fire Stick and a Bluetooth controller, you can download Apple Arcade, or you can download Apple Games, or whatever they decide to call it, Pippin 2, whatever, and you just play it. You have an iPad, you have an iPhone, that's your portable. You have an Apple TV, or one of the the newer devices that have just come out, like the Macs with the M1 chips, or an iMac, whatever. That's your gaming console. That's your big, powerful, beefy boy. Like, you know what I'm saying? And I just think it can work better as an app, because knowing the Apple infrastructure and knowing how they like to do things and they like to have it to it works across all devices, it would seem kind of weird for them to do this as a separate gaming console, because even Microsoft doesn't really do that. Yes, Microsoft has its own gaming platform with Xbox, but they also have Game Pass that goes across the PC. They also own Windows, which means you can download a lot of the games that they have already through the Windows Store. So why would this be any different? Why wouldn't you just simply have the App Store hold these games and you just download them and play them? That's why I don't think that they're going to come out with a gaming console. And considering the fact that now that I've gone back and done the research for this video, this article was rumored back in January, and we're basically halfway through the year. And we have June coming up in a couple of days. We're basically halfway through the year. Unless this is something they plan to show off like at the end of the year or next year, I don't see this happening. I mean, I'm taking it with a huge grain of salt. Like, go ahead and just throw the salt over your shoulder. Don't step on any cracks. Whatever superstition you want. Don't take this seriously, because I'm not. I'm not taking it any seriously, because I just don't think it's going to happen. Apple has too much in their infrastructure right now. Because again, everything that they do, Apple Music, Apple TV, Apple, whatever, goes through the infrastructure. Even Apple Arcade goes through Mac, goes through iPhone, goes through iPad, goes through the devices. So I don't see, which I could be wrong, because again, I thought that they wouldn't make anything else, but now we have this new Apple device. I forgot what it's called now, but it's a big, beefy, almost like a Mac Mini, like a big, super powerful, desktop computer that you just plug monitors into. So I could be wrong. This could be the kind of thing where Apple does come out with their own system. And of course, I'll buy it, because I plan to go back and buy the Pippin. It's been kind of on the backlog of like, yeah, this is one of the last consoles that I'm going to buy. Because, what's it going to do? It's going to be like the Ouya, By the time I get my hands on an Ouya, there's no support for it. So what am I going to do when I'm going to play on it? Especially if it did no, it does have a disc slot. Now they go back and look at the pictures. It did have a disc slot. So I guess you could have played games on it, but I just don't know any games that came out for it that were like, oh yeah, here's a big Apple Bandai Pippin exclusive. But again, only time will tell. What do you guys think about the idea of an Apple Pippin 2? It's a dumb name. But what do you think about the idea of them coming out with a new game console? Do you think that they're going to try to go the route of Microsoft and basically make their own Xbox and come out with a super beefy console? Or do you think it's just going to be like what I'm thinking, and it's just going to be probably either a stick that you plug in, or it's just going to be some kind of app, some kind of infrastructure, some kind of service, something like Game Pass, where it's like, look, here's all the Apple games. You can download them, play them however you like. You download them, you can move them between your devices, kind of like what you can already do now. But that's my 2 cents on the matter, guys. Thank you for listening for this podcast. Thank you for supporting me as always. And if you want to, again, no pressure from me, make sure you leave a like and subscribe if you like this kind of content, because I'm going to try to make content like this at least once a week going forward. So, with that said in mind, I hope you guys have a great day, and I'll talk to you next time.